So every finance curriculum workshop we do in the States, we start with a positive financial affirmation, because if your mindset is not right, it's going to be harder for you to make the money. So we want all of your mindsets to be right. So for today, I'll say the words and then I'll point to you and you repeat it. I am one idea
one idea
away from
away from
being a multimillionaire.
being a multimillionaire.
Do we all believe this?
I do.
All right. Okay. So for anyone who said no, I want you to understand that I'm the first multimillionaire in my family. I was the first person to officially make $1 million. Most of you probably have family members and parents who, if you were to add up all the money they made in their 40 years, 50 years of their lifetime, would have spent $1 million, but never seen it in one shot. There's two kind of millionaires. You're an asset flow millionaire, a cash flow millionaire. Do we all know what that means? The difference? All right. So does anyone not know the difference? Raise your hand so I could break it down. All right. An asset flow millionaire means that you might own a house or something that you can't liquidate as easily, but might be valued at $1 million plus. Most of the rappers and singers and actors that you see on TV, they might be asset flow millionaires, which means if they wanted to buy something right away, they don't really have the cash flow to do so, but they own an asset or something that is worth that money. A cash flow millionaire is a person who right now could be like, I want to buy that $700,000 car and buy it because they have the cash readily, easily liquidable and readily available. I am both an asset flow and a cash flow multimillionaire. First in my family, right? And I say this to say, every last person here can do that. Because I worked the hard way to do it, but everyone here can do it. It is just one idea away from you doing so. So we're going to say that one more time together as a group. You ready? All right. Do we remember the words? Yes? All right. So the words are, I am one idea away from being a multimillionaire. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and we're going to say it together. 3, 2, 1. I am one idea away from being a multimillionaire. All right, you guys did better on that one. Thank you.
Well, once again, my name is Bree Specific. You can hear me on 107.5 WGCI. I also help with a digital media platform called What's the Word TV. If you haven't seen it, or you haven't seen us, make sure y'all go follow us. We just did an interview with Chance the Rapper that's doing really good on YouTube, so y'all go check that out. I think I'm blessed because I'm able to transform my personality into income. That's something that I didn't think that I would be able to do, or didn't even think about doing, because when I came out of college, content creators were like a thing, but it wasn't really like lucrative, you know what I'm saying? So when I started to do radio, I just was able to branch into other avenues on a digital platform where I was able to get money and get free clothes and take trips and get free hotel rooms and things like that. And I think it's really important to stress that you can create a lot of revenue with the personalities that you have. You can create a lot of revenue with the lifestyles that you have. Anybody want to be a content creator?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all creating content now, or? Yes. She said yes. Well, on TikTok? Okay. Keep it up. She said yes, for real. Get off your phone. Yes. So keep that up. Like, if you want to be a content creator, if you're thinking about even starting a business, if you want to just make money with your friends, a lot of money that I've made has been collaborating with a lot of different businesses and collaborating with a lot of different friends that I was able to just get together, have some fun, making some good content, and been able to leverage that and show that to different brands so that they will want to be able to work with me. So we can get into some of these questions now.
So I think what you said, though, kind of leads us to our questions, but you asked them the question about content creator. I would love to know, how many people here would like to be either a 9-to-5, an entrepreneur? So raise your hand if you think you want to be a 9-to-5. That means like a lawyer, a doctor, any of those people, raise your hand. Okay. I'm here to tell you that is perfectly fine, and that's a beautiful thing. We need you equally as much as people want entrepreneurship. I used to be a 9-to-5 person. I made 5 to 6 figures as that. You can make good money. You might get tired. You might work crazy hours. But guess what? Entrepreneurship, you actually work more hours than a 9-to-5. Mm-hmm. So how many people here want to be entrepreneurs? Raise your hand. Okay. I love the fact that we're split almost down the middle with that. But respectfully, entrepreneurship is definitely something where you put in more work and hours, because now you don't have someone paying you when you do the hard work. You have to work hard enough to be able to earn that money yourself. So when she's talking about content creation, that is a person who is putting in that overtime, like that TikTok girl. She's putting in overtime to create content that hopefully can remain trending. And that, to me, sounds like one of the hardest things to possibly do.
Yeah, when I first started out, I was a 9-to-5 and an entrepreneur. And I did radio. So that's an entrepreneur radio. There's like 3-4 jobs that I had. So I was waitressing. I was working for a staff agency. I was working at the radio station, and I was making candles. I had my own candle business at the time. And yeah, I feel like I was putting more work into making those candles and selling those candles and trying to capitalize off my small business than I was just going to work and getting a check and coming home. It's doable, but you have to be able to have the bandwidth to be able to hold it down, for sure.
So one of the questions that they had is, what's the hardest lesson you've learned about brand building in industries that don't always see or serve us? So I think I look out into the crowd and I see a nice variety of people. And it's an understatement that we know that a lot of the rooms and worlds that surround us that make money the most were not necessarily created for us or by us, which means that somebody else is a gatekeeper. In my experience as a Black woman in finance, obviously, I was usually like the only sprinkle in the room. And on top of that, I was in a male-dominated world, which created a whole other process of issues. But I learned how to get mentorship from men. They were amazing. I had mentors who were like 80-year-old and Jewish. I had mentors who were, 50 at one point, and they were like younger. But in the end of the day, it was a male-dominated world. But I still was able to learn. The reason I put that out there, because when I hear that question, I would like to make sure that the biggest point is, do not allow the fact that a room is not made for you to stop you from dominating the room or creating a table in the room or doing what you want to do. So one of the things I'm definitely going to do today, I think we're going to open up to you guys for Q&As. But while you start to think about your success, remember we started with your mind frame, right? Half of the battle is knowing that you can and you deserve to be in that room and have that entitlement. I like to jokingly say in the UK, the biggest difference between American and British students, in my opinion, is British students, we're all very entitled. So we walk into the room like, we deserve to get that discount. We deserve to get that free program. The list continues. Whereas for us, that changes things, right? Because here, sometimes I think people are like, well, I don't know if that was made for us. I don't know if I'll be a millionaire. Somebody said, oh, I don't think we could be all millionaires. Every last person in this room, that money is your birthright. If you're willing to work for it, then it's your birthright. And I want you to walk away today with knowing that. If you put in the work, if you do the research, if you do your homework, if you make sure you learn, you perfect the thing that you're trying to excel at, 9 out of 10 chance, if you put in that work, you're going to get it. Who knows Kobe Bryant? Raise your hand. All right? He had this thing called Mamba mentality. And he used to say, one of my favorite quotes, which is, I don't understand lazy people and I don't want to understand them. It's my favorite quote. Respectfully, Kobe was in there every day. Even though he was at one point the top of his game, one of the best players, he would still practice every day for a certain amount of hours, a certain amount of time, every bloody day, no days off, when he was playing sports, because he wanted to make sure he remained at the top. If you're willing to put that energy into something, I personally believe you're going to win.
So now we're going to allow 4 of the youth to come to the mic and ask any questions.
What's the hardest thing about, maintaining a business?
Maintaining a business, consistency, especially when you have a lot going on. I'm at the point now where you have to plan everything out. Planning and execution is very important. Just the consistency of it. People have to see you if you want to, like me, if you want to be a personality, you want to be a talent, you want to have a business, or if you're just striving for whatever profession that you in, whatever level that you're working towards, those people have to see you. They have to know that this is what you want, because if they don't know, how's it going to happen? Okay, so on top of working hard, being consistent, and actually having those goals, always know that you can never stop learning, you can never stop going to the next level, because there's no ceilings.
For me, I think the hardest thing was micromanaging. I had to learn how to hire the right people and then give the people that I hired the position to do the job that I hired them for. And that was one of the hardest things because hiring is hard. Some people just want a job and they'd be like, yeah, I'm the best CFO, chief financial officer you'll ever get. Meanwhile, you look at their resume and you'd be like, you've never done this before. So how are you going to be the best? So the process of hiring a team, I have 509 employees in 7 countries right now. So also having like systems in place to keep track of all of that, even having tenants, right? Systems in place. So having Excel sheets and the systems to make sure I can monitor which one of my tenants paid me for the month. I used to have 289 rentals. So I had to learn the systems to know how do I save money on these things. And then the next thing I had to learn was how to hire the people to maintain all of those different worlds. So for me, hiring is very important and making sure you don't do it by yourself. So every last person here, if you have an idea in your business, you need to create a team around you, right? Your team doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar team. It can literally be somebody who knows how to make websites because you need a website done. Someone who knows how to pull out the iPhone and shoot content for you. You need a team. You cannot do everything by yourself. You can, but you'll be bloody exhausted. It's not worth it. So create a team around you and use your skills that you have to barter to make sure you can pay for that team until you have the financial means to pay for that team. And, you know, not everyone's going to barter with you, but find the people who are willing to work with you.
Bartering is really important.
Yes.
What lesson in life do you wish you had learned sooner?
So I just mentioned the team part, right? When I was in school, because I was a finance person, all of my friends were finance at one point, right? And then I just kind of wish I knew and understood earlier to diversify my friends, right? We talk about diversifying money, right? Oh, put money in stocks and real estate and this and that. But no one talks about diversifying your friendships. So when I was in uni, I was always like, all my friends are finance person, or because I also did med school because I was crazy like that. All my friends are med school or finance. And so when I needed a website done, if I needed this, I needed that, I didn't have the network within my circle. I always had to pay someone to do things. And then I had other friends who diversified their friendships and were kind of eclectic and had this friend who was a musician, that friend who knew how to build graphic design flyers, and that friend who knew how to, you know, do sound bowl healing. And they were just like, they had a whole ecosystem within themselves. So my biggest thing to you would be, while you're in college and university right now, while you're in school, diversify your friendships. One of your friends should be doing, all your friends should have at least one category that is not something that you do. That way you can spread out. And when you all become adults, one of them might be the next Chicago treasurer. The next person might be the president. This person might be the best veterinarian or the best doctor. And now you have that all within your own ecosystem. That would be my advice.
I think mine would be, I wish I would have learned that I could start my career earlier than I did. I went to college, went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, and I didn't know okay, Salukis, yeah. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be a marriage counselor. I started studying psychology. The reading was a lot. So after my first semester, I decided to go undecided and just kind of take different courses and go to different organizations and clubs and see if it's anything that, you know, clicked to me. And that's where I found public relations. So that led to me becoming a speech communication and public relations major, which kind of go hand in hand because now I speak to everybody. And I didn't think that I was able to use my public relations degree within my career, but it helps a lot. Like, it helps with the resources that I have. It helps with reaching out to different, you know, media for releases and things like that. So I wish I would have known that I could do radio. Like, I could have started radio while I was studying public relations, because to me, I feel like I would have been a little bit further, a little bit sooner. I mean, God's timing is God's timing for sure, but you guys have the opportunity to start now. Like, whatever it is you want to do. I have a friend, she teaches young girls how to do nails and how to do lashes for free. 14 to 18 years old on the west side of Chicago. So you want to learn how to do lashes so that you don't have to be working 3 jobs when you get to college, and you could just set your own hours and do lashes and like get a trade or get something that works for you. I definitely would recommend that for sure.
I started when I was 16, actually. So at 16, I graduated high school, technically at 15 and a half. By 16 and a half, I had my first paid internship in finance, and I've been in finance ever since. And I'm Team 40s. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Our team no sleep. So I will tell you this, right? When I worked corporate, I used to put 100-hour work weeks in investment banking For my clients, I managed 3.1 billion. And so when I started doing those 100 hours for them in a week, when I became an entrepreneur, I was like, let me put that energy into myself and see what happens. And that's what led me to my success.
You mentioned that you had a lot of male mentors. What is something that you took from all of them, and what would you repeat to us?
One of my favorite things that I learned was that taking time to sleep and rest is very important. And you're basically no good if your health is not good as well. So you have to make sure you take time for yourself. Don't let anyone or anything completely wipe you out. And the second thing was, you don't need a lot of money to invest. You don't have to have $1 million off the bat. So I'm going to ask this question to everyone in this room. Who here knows or is confident that you can use $5 to invest? Raise your hand. Okay, everyone's hand should be up. With as little as $5, everyone here can invest in something that can make you money and start generating money. To give you an example, if you're into crypto, this is not my professional advice, it's my professional opinion. Gotta say this. But like, let's say you're into crypto, right? Last year, Bitcoin was at $11,000 last year. Right now, it's at 90 to 100,000 plus 1 year later. So if you had taken even $5, imagine how your money would have grown in that time frame, right? And you don't have to buy a full share of Bitcoin. That's something you could buy a partial share of. Most stocks, there are certain brokerage firms where you can buy a partial of a stock. Who here owns a pair of Jordans? Raise your hand. Who here owns a pair of Jordan stock or Nike stock? Raise your hand. Everyone who raised their hand and say that they own a pair of Jordans should own a pair of Nike stock. Jordans on average cost more money than the actual equity in the actual share of the company. So working with these mentors that I've had, one of the biggest lessons I learned was that we invest in things all the time. Like, who here has an Apple phone? Raise your hand. You have an iPhone? Everybody's hand's basically up. How many of you own a share of Apple stock? Raise your hand. Your phone on average costs $500 to $1,000. The Apple share of an Apple stock is not even a fifth of that. Think about that. So you can actually own a share of a company that can go up in value, even give you something called dividends, as residuals income, even if you don't sell the stock. But you're not doing that investing. So one of the biggest things I learned was that if I invest and I buy a brand, rather it's the supermarket I go to, rather it's the lip gloss or the lipstick I use, I look to see if it's publicly traded and how much it costs. And if it's a brand that I like a lot, I tend to invest in that.
So what's your why?
My why is duplicitous. So my dad came from a wealthy background and was very well off. And my stepmom, or my mother figure, she was horrible with money. So I remember when they separated, because she was my mother figure, my dad would send me to go spend time with her. And she was horrible with money. I watched this lady live check to check, borrow to borrow. And her whole life, she financially struggled. 1 minute, tax season would come and she lived in a big penthouse, and then 4 months later she couldn't maintain it and she lived like in a basement in someone's home. And so as a child, watching this woman who did not have wealth or have money or understand money just be really bad with money, and she would do things like gamble, she would take the rent money and gotta try to make it more, and she just was doing these things, and I was like, I don't want to become that person. So my why was watching her struggle, but then I became a person who educated other people, because I was like, you know what? I was put in a position that I had at least one parent to teach me the right thing to do. And a lot of people don't have that. So it became very important to me that I created a space where people who don't have that option or just wanted the knowledge could actually reach out and touch someone who looked like them, gave them representation, but also could get the things done. How about you?
My why is communication and connection. I think it's very important, especially being in Black and brown communities where there is a lack of healthy communication and having healthy relationships coming up from a household where my parents weren't together. So I had to navigate through things like that and just learning how. And then I'm an only child, so I didn't talk to nobody growing up, y'all. Like, I don't even know how I got on the radio to talk so much now. But so just coming up not feeling like I had the confidence to communicate or had the confidence to be able to think that, okay, whatever I wanted to do in this world, I'm able to do it. So now I have a voice where I can tell you guys, like, literally, whatever you have way more resources than we had coming up. And especially just coming from your phone or from your computer, just the people that you're around and your mentors. So anything that you want to do in your life, like, y'all can do it.
So I'm very big on letting people know what you're proud of the most. Is there one or two things that you would want to share with us, like an accolade or something that you accomplished? Even how you're saying the Chance the Rapper right now is trending. Is there like a metrics or something that you've done that you're really proud of right now?
I've done a couple things. Earlier this year, I was nominated for the Women in Music Award with the Global Mixed Music Forum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Some fun things I've done. I threw the first pitch at the White Sox game last August.
Very cool.
What else? And I'm really most proud of my longevity, because in a very consolidated industry such as like media and entertainment, I'm just proud that I'm able to navigate and able to maneuver. I left Power Night. So I was at Power Night 2 first. Y'all heard of Power Night 2? So I was there first, and I was there for 5 years, and I ended up leaving, and I didn't have a job for like 6 months. I was just out of radio, but I didn't tell anybody. And then I literally like worked hard as I can to make sure that my next stop was iHeartMedia with WGCI. So if anything I'm proud of that the most, because I could be out here doing something that I don't want to do.
So my two things would be, so last 2.5, 3 years, and the reason why I share this is because sometimes we think success is going to be overnight, but it's not. And so 2.5 years ago, I invested in this company called Redemption Bank. Redemption Bank is the first Black-owned bank in America that has in-house SBA lending, which means the only bank in America where if you get a loan, you're not going through a Caucasian bank to get your loans from them. And it's a bank that is co-owned by Dr. Bernice King, which is Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, and Ashley Bell, who's a Black man who's worked in the government, worked in the White House, Obama administration. The list continues. And for me, as an investor, it's not just about making money. It's about what am I doing to create legacy and create something bigger than myself. So when you talked about the why, it made me think of that. And so it's great to be like a founding member of a Black bank in America.
That's
And, you know, there are literally only 19 Black banks in all of America right now. We used to have 189 of them. So just that in itself is crazy, right? But most people don't even think about it. So that is definitely something, you know?
Yeah.
That was exciting.
Well, thank y'all for having us. I'll be around. You'll be around for a little bit.
I'm going to be around for a little bit.
Any
if you guys have questions or
questions?
thoughts, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, y'all just want to say hi.
You have one last question?
Is it harder to work in America or England?
Oh, you're pointing to me.
Good question.
It's actually harder. It's not really. It's not a difference, honestly. You still got to put the work in. So I don't think it's harder in anyone in particular. I would say the only reason I would say it may be America is because it's so expensive to travel in America, and I live in New York, and New York is cold. And I know Chicago gets very cold, and I don't like cold. I'm allergic to cold. So when it comes wintertime, when I lived in England, for like the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, for like £150, I would go to like Spain and Italy and Portugal, and I'd be somewhere on somebody's beach relaxing. And it was really cheap, $150, $300. I was gone for the weekend, somewhere's beach, come back Monday refreshed. In America, you can't do that because to go to that beach, it's like $2,000, $3,000. So I will say it's a little bit more expensive in certain ways to live in America. And sometimes that throws me off. But now that money's not a thing, it's still a thing for me because I like to save. I'm very frugal. And so I'm like, I want to spend on an experience. I don't like to have to spend that much on the experience. And then it's like a longer ride, right? Like in England, it's like 2 hours to go to France, or 1.5 hours, whatever. But here in America, it's like 6.5 hours to go to LA. And I'm like, fam, this is killing me. I live in New York. So, and yeah, even with New York, it's like, you know, in the end of the day, you go to Florida, but who wants to go to Florida every weekend? I like versatility, different countries, put the stamp, ooh, I'm bougie. Like, you know, we got none of that in New York. New York be humbling you. I'll tell you, New York will humble you real quick. Go to a steakhouse, it's like $700. I'm like, it was just a steak. What are you talking about?
Okay,
Go to
Chicago
Ghana and go to Africa, be like 20 people ate. It's like $300. So, you know, America humbles you when you come to live here. All right. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, social media, woman. You're the content creator.
Y'all can follow me at Bree Specific on all social platforms. I'm on air tonight, so if y'all in the car with y'all parents, make sure y'all turn on WGCI.
And I'm Jatali Bellanton on all social media platforms. Instagram is the main thing I utilize. So it's Jatali Bellanton, Bellanton. But it's a verified page. So once you see Jatali, you see that verified check, you know it's me. Thank you guys.
Thank you.